Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Moonlit Lioness. Today is Stargazing Sunday, and I'm going to go through the astrology for the week. So let's not waste time, and I will get right to it. There we go. All right. So this week, starting today, June 21st, we have the summer solstice. Happy summer solstice. Happy first day of summer. Longest day of the year. Usually it's a nice time of year. Sun is entering Cancer. Our attention's turned toward home and family, nurturing, protecting our own. It's usually a very nice time. While we're going in the summer solstice. Oh, also, I need to say happy Father's Day. I don't know if it's Father's Day anywhere else besides the United States, but here in the United States, it's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And let's see here. So back to our moon. Summer solstice, we are in the second quarter moon phase where the moon is waxing to a full moon. Next week, we're going to have a full moon, and it starts out, the energies and our emotional energies start out with Libra energies, which are all about relationships and balance, cooperation, peace, beauty. It kind of flows into Scorpio energy, where we have more passion and desire, maybe even obsession. There can be secrets, and we tend to want to investigate things more. And then we flow into Sagittarius, where there's more optimism, desire to travel, desire to learn new things and gain some wisdom, or share your wisdom. This week in our planets, the planetary aspects are today we have the Sun in Cancer sextiling Chiron and Taurus. And on Thursday, we have Venus trining Saturn and the Sun squaring, I don't know if you can see that, the Sun squaring Neptune. And then on Saturday, we have Mars in a sextile to Jupiter. Nothing absolutely major aspect-wise here, but that is what we're going to talk about for this week. So I'm going to move on now to the next slide. All right, so here's our picture for Sun entering Cancer. Longest day of the year, happy solstice, summer solstice, happy Father's Day. We've had the Sun in Gemini. That's kind of like our Marty McFly energy. He's fast. He's all about moving back and forth, communicating with this person and then with that person, sharing information, and and so on. And this energy that we've been in is going to change now. He's kind of jumping through this portal, and he's becoming, you can see over here, Cancer, Sun in Cancer. Today is Sun in Cancer. What is Cancer? Cancer is home and family and nurturing and security, and emotions, right? So I've decided not to put my notes on the slides and have them off the slides. So I'm going to get my notes out here. And I think you can only see my slide. Yeah, that's good. So, today's the longest day of the year, and just a little bit of FYI, it's where the sun stands still. The word solstice comes from the Latin sol, meaning sun, and sistere, meaning to stand still. Astrologically, this pause encourages us to stop, rest, and honor how far we've grown. So a little bit of tidbit of information there. And also it's the start of Cancer season. As I said, Sun is entering Cancer. Well, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So that means that we're going to have this flavor coming from the moon. It's about emotions. It's about, like I said, home and family. Cancer governs the heart, emotional wisdom, and so on. Anyway, so let's move on to slide 3. Sorry if this is a little choppy, but I'm learning how to get better at this every week. Okay. A little bit, I'm trying a new app to show my slides. All right, so The first aspect we are encountering this week is this Sun and Cancer sextile Chiron and Taurus. And if you look over here on the chart, you can see here's the Sun, and here is Chiron over here. And they are in a sextile to one another. And at the same time they're in a sextile, they are also each in a sextile to a node. So the Sun is in a sextile to the node over here. Chiron's in a sextile to the node over here, and they also form a trine. Where there's a sextile, there's usually a trine if there's an opposition that they're sextiling to. So what this forms is like a basket. There's a basket formation here, and there's several other planets in here, and I decided not to include them because it just gets so busy and hard to look at for the audience. So, but I did include Uranus. I added Uranus back on here because I want to talk about that. So let me just read through my notes here and talk about. So the Sun just entered Cancer. That means it's at 0 degrees, which is a critical degree. It's usually a strong degree because it's just the beginning. It's kind of like Aries energy, where, Aries is the beginning of spring and everything just kind of thrusts into being. It's a lot of energy, a lot of swiftness. So we got that kind of energy with the Sun in Cancer. It's also, like I said, an aspect to the nodes, nudging us toward more faith in ourselves and the divine, less reliance on systems and the science. The largest concentration of planets, although they're not all showing here, is in Cancer along with the Sun. Jupiter's already here with the Sun, and I don't have my chart in front of me, so I can't recall what else is in the Sun, or in Cancer. But the largest concentration is in Cancer, including the Sun and Jupiter. And then I've also read that when you have this kind of a bull formation like this, there's a way you can tap into this formation of this energy. And it's usually at the midpoint. So right here would be the midpoint of this sextile. And the closest thing within a couple of degrees to that is Uranus, which is our shocks and our surprises. It's Uranus in Gemini, shocks and surprises. So there may be an urge to think and speak in an innovative or different sort of way, because Gemini is about how we think and speak. Uranus is innovation, uniqueness, etc. So, maybe all of this energy here is going to kind of pour out of us through some unique ideas and thoughts and communications. Let's see here. Also, I want to talk about Taurus, how the Sun in sextile here, to what that means with the Sun in Cancer in aspect to Chiron and Taurus. And Chiron is our wounds, and it just, Sun just entered Cancer. Chiron just entered Taurus, another 0 degree. A lot of early degrees in this formation here, which is stronger energy. But Chiron is our wounds, and it just entered into Taurus. And I did a little research on Chiron in the signs. And something interesting that I learned was that it takes about 49 to 51 years to go all the way around the zodiac. So on average, it's about 4 years in a sign. However, it doesn't have a circular orbit. It has an elliptical orbit, which means that it doesn't spend the same amount of time in every sign. And it just so happens that for Taurus, it's going to be 8 years in the sign, which is much longer than the average. So what does that mean? That means that there's going to be a lot more time and energy spent in that particular area on healing old wounds. And, on a personal level, these old wounds, Taurus, Taurus rules your finances. It rules your values, how you see money. Also in the body, it rules the body or the neck area and your voice, things that come from the neck, your voice. So if you felt insecure and suppressed in what you're saying, maybe you're going to find your voice. Maybe it's something actually physical and you're going to see symptoms of issues with your neck that will come up. I don't know. I have thyroid issues. You can see the bulge in my neck right here. I've dealt with them for years, but so that's not something new for me. Maybe I'll figure out how to heal it. Maybe that's because it's not only finding the wounds, it's also healing the wounds and then using that knowledge to help others, to teach others. That's the whole process of Chiron. um, we'll get to the global level later. I guess I'm not going to talk about that just yet, but anyway, so this aspect, Chiron and the sun and sextile to each other, signifies a supportive transit where on a global scale our collective identity and our leadership, which is represented by the sun, find harmonious ways, that's the sextile, to heal economic, environmental, or structural wounds. So we are uncovering right now a lot of wounds, I believe, and that's the disclosure that we're seeing right now. And you can see from the length of time Chiron's going to be in Taurus that we're going to be spending a lot of time healing those wounds. Okay, in our picture here, on a more personal level, we see our sun in Cancer, female figure, discovering a crack in her home. That's the wound, right? And this is just the visible surface of this issue. We can see there is more investigation necessary to find the cause of this wound. So if you look down under the ground, and I had to cut off the picture because it was too tall, but there's just something somewhat uh, unidentifiable that is causing the problems, creating the crack. And that's what you may discover. You may discover, oh, I've got this issue. What's causing this? I don't know. That could be what's going on with this aspect. Okay, so let's move on to our aspects or our placements for Thursday. On Thursday, June 25th, we have Venus in Leo trine Saturn in Aries. And here's Venus over here in a trine, this blue line, Saturn over here. Saturn is our commitments and structures. It's what we build. And being in Aries, where it's new things, building and committing to new things. Venus in Leo is that maverick kind of figure that you saw in the previous picture. He's the one that likes to be noticed. He's the one that likes to put his heart on his sleeve and put it all out there for everyone to see. Venus is love, Venus is money, Venus is art, and those kind of things. So this could be about making commitments in a heartfelt or dramatic way. And because it involves Venus here, it may include money, love, art, or other Venus ruled things. So in this picture here, you can see, well, I don't have that part yet. It kind of shows up more in the next. Let me get to the other aspect because that's really what this picture is showing. The sun in Cancer here is in a square to Neptune. Squares are difficult. Squares are challenges. So that makes Neptune not so much expressed in the spiritual way, but maybe more expressed in the hard to see or hard to act spiritual way. So it might be difficult to discover the cause of an issue. If you discover that there's an issue with that Chiron aspect we just talked about a few days ago, you might also be having a difficult time discovering the cause of the issue with this aspect right here. The sun moves 1 degree every day. It's not something that, it's not as long lasting, this particular aspect. So it's just for this time period that it might be difficult to see things that are causing the issue. That's what we have here. We have our sun in Cancer working with an inspector to figure out what is the issue, what's going on here. It's hard to see. I can't see it. I have to use some special equipment, photographic equipment, which is also ruled by Neptune, in order to get to the root and figure out what is going on here. Okay, so that's kind of the energy of Thursday. And, this is an open commitment. It's visible to the public and the people around that she's committing to fixing something here, committing to that. So, all right. And then Saturday, we have Mars and Taurus, sextile Jupiter and Cancer. So Mars is where we have to apply that energy, and being in Taurus, these are um, our, like I said, these are, our values, our finances, and things like that. And Jupiter expands. So being in a sextile to Jupiter, it's kind of opening up this issue and making it more clear. And it could have to do with home and family because Jupiter's in Cancer. So having to apply energy, the sextile is showing how we're having to apply energy um, to fixing the problem, to fixing the issue that we're looking at if we found the issue. And also you can see here that Mars is starting to form a square to the nodes. So whatever this is that we're working on, it is also nudging us closer to relying more on ourselves and the divine. Oops, sorry about that. And not so much on science and systems, although I do have her relying on this technology here. But she has to make the ultimate decision, the final decision as to whether that is really what is needed or not. So at this point, this is a very Taurus finance sort of thing. He's giving her the estimate. He's saying, hey, it's going to cost this to fix this big crack. Um, so that's kind of the story of the week. You may encounter a problem. In that problem, it may be hard to see what's causing the problem. And but there definitely will be a focus on fixing the problem, and whatever that is. It could be, it can be several different things. Picture is just an example of what it could be. So finally, on the world stage, if we look at these aspects on the world stage, the sun immediately entering Cancer and sextile to Chiron, we're talking about the sun in Cancer is our world leaders working for the nation. The Cancer is the nation, the people. And sextile to Chiron means we're working on wounds. So maybe there will be more revelations of old wounds, which show as, I think maybe it's supposed to be show us how taxpayers were taken advantage of. Maybe that's a possibility coming this week. But there's definitely going to be more disclosure based on this particular aspect from what I can see in the astrology. Also, later on Thursday with the Venus and Leo trine Saturn and Aries, Venus and Leo are our world leaders. Venus can have to do with money. It can also have to do with us loving our world leaders or making they shine more for us in some way. But that Saturn and Aries is commitments, it's new commitments, and trines are good aspects. So we're leaders making new commitments. It looks like we're going to continue down that road of committing to making new agreements with each other, and overall, because of all this energy and Cancer, for the benefit of the people. And then we've got also on that day, Sun and Cancer square Neptune and Aries. And with that square to Neptune, the people can't see what's happening clearly, or maybe that there's some things happening in the background that aren't clear to the people. Or it's possible that people are over exaggerating their patriotism, for example. Or they get over patriotic. Neptune, it's not only that you can't see something, it's also that maybe it's overdone. You lose your groundedness, you lose your balance and your ability to see the practical side of things. And in this case, I have here issues with idealism overshadowing practicality, leading to zealotry and maybe brief mass protests. So, it's brief because the sun moves a degree every day. It's not something that sits there for a long period of time. And so it might spark something, it might spark some protests, We'll see what happens, but it's possible. And then on Saturday, we have Mars and Taurus, sextile Jupiter and Cancer. And on the world stage, I see that as more of a focus on our national emotional security, because Cancer again is the people, and Jupiter is blessings on the people. Sextile is a good aspect. Mars is where you must focus your energy, and Taurus has to do with our national systems and our financial systems as well. So it's a very positive, brief moment to apply and move things forward and for the benefit of the people. So that is my reading for today on the astrology of the week. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to go ahead and do a quick tarot read to see what I get in my tarot for the energies for the week. All right, today is June 21st, and I'm going to do a read on the energies for the week after doing the astrology just now. I'm going to draw from this deck here. This deck is called The Gateway of Light Activation Oracle Guidebook. This is the Oracle Guidebook by Kyle Gray. So I'm going to draw a card from this to get the overall energies. And then I will do the pyramid spread. I'm going to do a pyramid spread, past, present, future, hidden influence, 2 extra information cards, and the outcome. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and lay these out. Not turned over yet. And get them put in their proper positions. Let's see here. I want to make sure they're centered. There we go. And it looks like it's centered well. And here is our oracle. All right. So first we've got our oracle. And it's Temple of Truth. Throat chakra. Now, what did I just say in our astrology? Or throat chakra, authenticity, self-expression. So we've got Chiron in Taurus. Taurus rules the throat. It's our voice. So I think as a collective, we are going to be finding our voice this week. It's in the astrology, and it's showing up here on the oracle. I'm not going to read the card. It'll take too long. I'm not going to read the book. But, so, that is our guiding card. And let me go ahead and read the past, present, future. Okay, we've got the lovers in the past. And the 4 of Cups. In the present. And the 6 of Pentacles in the future. All right. 5 of Wands. The Devil. 5 of Cups. Queen of Swords. Okay. So our hidden influence is conflict. Okay. So there's going to be some inner conflict, outer conflict, some sort of conflict. Okay. And in the conflict, it's forcing us to find our voice, forcing us to find and speak the truth. This is the outcome, the truth. Okay. Whether no matter how is this in the picture? It looks, I can't tell. I'm sorry, my screen on my camera is a little bit, I'm going to move all these up just to make sure it's visible. Because I've got some little things on my screen that are kind of covering up. I'm not sure if it's showing. So, the truth. All right. So we're coming from a place of the Lovers. Maybe we've had relationships in the past, or situations or experiences that have suppressed our voice. And at present, we've got something nudging at us, something saying there's something missing. There's something missing, and it's you speaking what your voice, you speaking your thoughts, your ideas, because everyone's thoughts and ideas matter. It's important for everyone to be heard. Communicating with each other. That's what Charlie Kirk was showing us. You know, communicating with each other is how we work things through. And if you're not speaking your voice, no, you know, whether you think you're right or wrong, or they're right or wrong, or it doesn't matter. It's how you work things out. So it's that missing component, that missing element, is going to be presenting itself as a choice here. That's what this is. This is choice. It's like you've had the choice and it's there, but we're not paying attention to it. We have the choice to speak out, but we're not paying attention to it. And in the future here, it looks, this is a balance card. It's a card of finding the balance. So I think it's important to start putting things out there. It's not like you have to be the judgment card and say everything that's on your mind all at once. You can start out in bits and pieces, like this man is giving this person in need some things, and he's keeping balance in what he's giving. He's not giving away his whole life savings to those in need. He's giving out what he can afford. He's giving. So in your world, get yourself to speak up, but speak out with what you can afford. You know, not giving away. Be practical, be grounded in what you're saying, but don't, it's not all or nothing. We need to start speaking up. Okay. And then the advice cards here are interesting. We've got the couple, the two cards that have the couples here. Interesting, right? So here, you know, we're tied down. Maybe it's a duality we're looking at, because Gemini is also about duality, right? It's about, you know, two choices, or only seeing two choices, the good and the bad. Maybe seeing it in black and white is what gets you from not speaking up. You think, oh, I'm not right, so I'm not going to say something. Maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is just to speak up, period, and say what you think. But just make sure you're phrasing it in a way that is, I think this. Anyway, so I think we're tied down because of the duality of how we see things. That's coming to my mind, right? And maybe we need to get out of it's this or that, and get more into the frame of mind of it's not just this or that. My opinion matters. You know, there's more subjectivity to this that's important for everyone's side to be heard. So don't be tied down with that idea, and look at the bright side of things. This is a card of disappointment where, you know, the silver lining is it's not all spilled. You know, he didn't spill all the wine. So I think, again, we're looking at this idea of balance. It's not all or nothing. It's not black or white. Get your voice out there in dribs and drabs. Say what you think. Don't be ashamed of it. Everybody needs to hear everybody's opinion, right? We need to talk, and we need to be okay and understand and be proud of ourselves and our own ideas about things. And then here, the Queen of Swords, you will, in the process, you will find your truth and the truth, because as you have discussions or talks with people, it will bring truths to you, and you will bring truths to them, and there will be things hammered out. So, throat chakra, authenticity, self-expression, that's the key this week. So go for it and enjoy your week. I hope you have a great week. We've got some good productive energy this week, and it's something to look forward to. So take care. I'll see you again on What's the Word Wednesday. I will be certain to put something out on What's the Word Wednesday. If I don't put something out before or after, just, because I see things in the news. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your time with me, and I will see you again on Wednesday.